What if I told you that a $1 box sitting in your kitchen cabinet can save a $200 silk tie in under 5 minutes? Big dry cleaning corporations do not want you to know this. They have spent decades hiding this secret because your ignorance is worth billions to them. Every single time you drop off a stained silk tie at a dry cleaner, you hand over $15, $20, sometimes even $40 for something you could fix yourself at home for pennies. Today, I'm exposing the truth they buried. I'm going to show you exactly how plain cornstarch, yes, the same stuff your grandmother used for our gravy, pulls oil stains out of silk completely. No chemicals, no damage, no dry cleaner needed. Stay until the end because the last tip will shock you. It changed everything for me, and it will for you too. You know that feeling. You're at a dinner, maybe a business lunch, maybe a wedding. Someone passes the bread, someone reaches for the olive oil, and in one terrible second, drip. A dark, ugly oil stain spreads across your silk tie like a shadow. Your stomach drops. That tie cost you $80, maybe $150, maybe it was a gift. And just like that, it looks ruined. You dab it with a napkin and make it worse. You pour water on it and the stain spreads. You try dish soap in the restaurant bathroom and now there's a wet ring around the stain. Sound familiar? You have been there. Most people have. And what happens next? You take it to the dry cleaner. They look at it, shake their heads slowly like a mechanic inspecting your engine and say the magic words, "We will do our best." 2 days later, you pay $25 and the stain is still faintly there. Or worse, the silk is damaged. Dry cleaning chemicals are brutal on delicate fabrics. The dry cleaning industry in the United States alone generates over $9 billion every single year. $9 billion. A massive portion of that comes from silk and delicate fabric treatments. They charge $20 to $45 per silk item. People bring in ties, blouses, scarves, dresses, all for stains that could be treated at home for virtually nothing. They count on you not knowing better. They depend on your panic. That panic is their profit. Every stain is a transaction. Every ruined garment is job security. And the worst part? The solution has existed for over a century, hidden in plain sight, sitting in your pantry right now. Here's where it gets interesting. Here's the part they really do not want you to hear. Back in the early 1940s, during World War II, commercial dry cleaning was booming. Fabric was expensive and rationed. People needed their good clothes maintained. The dry cleaning industry was growing fast, and powerful trade associations formed to protect that business. Around the same time, homemakers and textile workers already knew that absorbent powders, cornstarch, talc, chalk powder, could lift oil and grease from fabric before it set. This knowledge was common in households. It was passed down. It was practical. It worked. But as dry cleaning became more commercialized through the 1950s and 1960s, these home remedies got quietly pushed aside. Big brands like Martinizing and National Fabric Care pushed heavy marketing campaigns, telling consumers that home treatment of delicate fabrics was dangerous, that silk required professional handling, that attempting home stain removal would void any chance of recovery. They spent money, real, serious money, on advertising that made people afraid to try, afraid to trust themselves. Only 1% of people today actually know that oil-based stains respond faster to dry absorbents than to any wet chemical treatment. The science is simple. Oil is nonpolar. Water cannot bind to it. But a fine starch powder physically absorbs the oil molecules before they fully bond with the fabric fibers. If you act within the first 30 minutes, cornstarch can pull out nearly all of an oil stain from silk, without heat, without solvents, without a single dollar spent at a counter. What I am about to show you is something textile conservators have known for decades. Museum curators use versions of this technique on priceless vintage garments. They never use harsh chemicals on silk. They never would. And yet, the dry cleaning industry convinced ordinary people that they had no choice, that they needed the professionals, that their $150 tie was too precious to treat themselves, while the professionals used methods that frequently damaged those same ties anyway. They spent decades keeping this quiet. Now you know why. Here is exactly what you need. You need 1 box of plain cornstarch, not corn flour, not baking powder, pure cornstarch. It costs around $1 at any grocery store. You also need a soft bristled brush. An old toothbrush works perfectly. A clean dry cloth, and if the stain has already dried slightly, a butter knife or spoon edge to very gently loosen the surface. That is the entire list. No special equipment, no chemicals, nothing you need to order online. Everything you already have or can grab in 5 minutes. The moment, and I mean the exact moment, you see an oil stain hit your silk tie, do not touch it with water. Do not rub it. Do not blot it aggressively. Your instinct will scream at you to do all of those things. Ignore that instinct completely. Instead, reach for your cornstarch. Pour a generous amount directly onto the stain. Do not be shy. Pile it on. You want the cornstarch completely covering the stained area with a thick, visible layer sitting on top of the fabric. Now leave it. This is the hardest part. Leave it sitting there for a minimum of 20 minutes. 30 is better. 45 is ideal if the stain has been sitting for more than a few minutes. What is happening during this time is remarkable. The cornstarch granules are physically drawing the oil upward and away from the silk fibers. They absorb it like a sponge. You can almost see it changing color as it pulls the grease out. After the waiting time, use your soft brush to very gently sweep away the cornstarch. Use light strokes. Never press down. Always brush away from the center of the stain outward. If any faint mark remains, repeat the process one more time. A second application almost always finishes the job completely. For older dried stains, use the back of a spoon to very softly break the surface crust of the stain first, then apply cornstarch immediately. The result will genuinely shock you. The stain that looked permanent, gone, or nearly gone. From a $1 box of powder you have had in your kitchen for months. Now, I want to show you how to make this method even more powerful. You already know the basic cornstarch technique, but there is a way to boost it that almost nobody talks about. If the stain is more than 2 hours old, mix your cornstarch with just a few drops, and I mean drops, of white dish soap before applying. Not liquid, drops. Blend it into a paste with your fingers. Apply that paste to the stain, let it sit for 30 minutes, then brush away gently and dab with a barely damp cloth to remove residue. The dish soap adds a mild surfactant that helps release oil that has already started to set deeper in the fibers, while the cornstarch continues to do the physical absorption work. Used together, they tackle both surface oil and slightly penetrated oil at the same time. Test this paste on a hidden part of the tie first, the back of the narrow blade near the tip, to make sure your specific silk does not react. Most silks handle this combination without any issue at all. Another thing most people never think about: heat is your enemy at every stage. Never use warm or hot water near a fresh oil stain on silk. Never use a hairdryer to speed the process. Heat drives oil deeper into fibers and sets it permanently. Room temperature only. Always. If your tie needs to be freshened after treatment, hang it in a steamy bathroom. Never iron it directly and never put it in a dryer under any circumstances. Silk is resilient when you treat it gently. It is fragile when you apply heat or harsh pressure. Let me show you 3 situations where most people make mistakes, and exactly what to do instead. Situation 1, restaurant oil stain, caught immediately. You have the best chance here. Excuse yourself to the restroom. If you have access to any powder, even table salt or sugar in a pinch, pile it onto the stain right now. Get cornstarch the moment. You are home and to reapply properly. You will likely see a perfect result. Situation 2, you discovered the stain after the tie has been hanging in your closet for a week. This is harder, but not hopeless. The oil has set. Use the cornstarch and dish soap paste method. Apply it twice. Be patient. You may see significant fading with the first treatment and near complete removal by the second. Some very old stains leave the faintest ghost mark. Aye, but even that can often be finished off with one professional spot treatment, which costs far less than full dry cleaning. Situation 3, the stain is on a patterned or multicolored tie. The method remains identical. However, be even more careful with the paste variation. Test thoroughly on the back tip. First, some dyed silks can react to dish soap. If you see any color lift on the test patch, stop and use cornstarch alone. Cornstarch alone is always completely safe for dyed silk. No exceptions, no complications. These 3 scenarios cover nearly every situation you will ever face. You now have the full toolkit. Now I want to be direct with you about something. This method works on oil-based stains. Cooking oil, olive oil, salad dressing, butter, cream sauces. All of these respond beautifully to cornstarch because they are all fat-based. But not every stain is oil-based. Wine, coffee, ink, and food dye stains are water-based and require a completely different approach. Cornstarch will not remove them effectively. Knowing this distinction saves you time and prevents frustration. If you spill red wine on your tie, cornstarch is not your solution. Club soda and gentle blotting is your first move. Always identify what type of stain you're dealing with before you treat it. Oil stains look dark, wet, and translucent against the fabric. They spread slowly. Water-based stains spread faster and often leave a color deposit. When in doubt about what hit your tie, treat it as oil-based first, since cornstarch will never damage silk regardless. If the stain persists after cornstarch, then you know it is likely water-based, and you can switch your approach. This one extra piece of knowledge makes you smarter than 90% of people who ever panic over a stain tie. If this opened your eyes today, and I think it did, then take 1 second and hit that like button right now. It genuinely helps this channel reach more people who are throwing away good money every week on problems they could solve for $1. Subscribe too, because what I have coming next will blow the lid off another industry secret that has been kept from regular people for decades. Next time, I'm exposing what the stain remover companies do not want you to know about white vinegar and hard water deposits on bathroom tiles. The results are unbelievable and the savings are real. And before you go, here's the final tip I promised, the one that shocks people every time. If you travel frequently and you want to protect your silk ties completely, pack one small resealable bag of cornstarch in your luggage, always. The moment a stain happens, on a plane, at a hotel dinner, at a conference, you treat it immediately instead of waiting until you get home. Immediate treatment is always more effective than delayed treatment. That single habit, that one tiny bag of powder, can protect thousands of dollars in neckwear over the course of your life. You are not helpless in front of a stain anymore. You have the knowledge now. Use it.